Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're out here today on this kind of chilly, windy day to talk about mulch. Mulch for your garden. Now, mulch is a garden's miracle material. It's something that is really handy, quite useful, and not difficult to make yourself if you don't want to buy it. You can buy mulch. You can buy different kinds of mulch in different colors and all that fancy stuff. But you can also use what you have around the home, around the yard, if that's what you're going for. So let's talk about mulch. Organic mulch, a few inches deep, helps soil retain moisture. It keeps the plant roots from getting too cold or too hot. It holds weeds in check, and it provides nutrients as they decompose. It also contributes organic matter to feed soil organisms and improve soil structure. We've talked about how important soil structure is in the past. Mulch will help give a little more structure to your soil. As a bonus, mulches can also give the garden a really neat, tidy appearance. So they can be really attractive. If you're looking for something that is really attractive, you might go with a mulch because they work. Many different loose organic materials can be used as mulch. You can use chopped leaves, straw, grass clippings, newspaper, shredded or chipped wood or bark, seed or nut hulls, and even seed shells. I know someone who did it with pistachio shells, which actually looked kind of neat, to be honest. You can collect leaves and grass clippings from your own property and buy other mulching materials in bags or in bulk from a nursery or a garden center. A lot of different color options available, especially if you go with a wood-based mulch. They have a lot of different colors of wood. It's really kind of cool. Shredded wood and bark is an ideal mulch, and that's primarily what they're going to sell at your local garden center. And it's ideal because it's unobtrusive, it's pretty easy to spread, it's heavy enough to stay put when it's windy, because some of the options I mentioned do blow around if you're not weighing them down. And it's non-compacting. So grass clippings and leaves will pack down over the course of the summer, whereas wood chips and bark kind of just stay where you put them and they don't squish. Okay, they don't squish down. They kind of, you put 2 inches of mulch down of wood, then it is still 2 inches a month later. Shredded wood also decomposes relatively slowly and needs renewing only about once a year, unlike things like garden clippings or leaves, which you have to renew quite frequently because they'll blow away, they'll compact. So if you're using something that's more loose and breaks down faster, you'll have to replenish it more often, whereas something like the wood chips or the bark, you only need to do that about once a year depending on your climate and your soil conditions. Gravel can sort of be used as mulch. It's not organic and it doesn't break down, but it is effective at keeping plant roots cool and helps to retain soil moisture. But it doesn't supply any organic matter or appreciable nutrients. So putting stone like gravel on your beds or pea gravel or anything like that, that doesn't contribute nutritionally to your plants, but it can still help the soil stay in place and provide decent drainage, and it can help keep your plants from blowing away because it kind of just keeps everything in place. Water permeable landscape fabrics can also be useful for mulching like shrub borders and other low maintenance areas that you don't really want to have to deal with too often. But they are difficult to cut through because they're really thick, and they're impractical in plantings where you're occasionally adding or moving plants around. So if you're using a landscape fabric to kind of keep everything in place, it's not breaking down and adding nutrients to your soil, but it's also difficult to basically move around. It's hard to cut through, and if you decide you want to move something, it's difficult to do that because you already cut a hole for it over here, and it's just all kinds of nonsense. It's doable, but landscape fabric isn't a great mulch. Plastic sheeting isn't a good mulch material for ordinary gardens for a lot of different reasons. I know a lot of people like to use plastic sheeting to keep their soil from blowing away, but in your home use, and I know some commercial applications use plastic sheeting, but for home use, It doesn't really allow water to penetrate, and it can overheat your plant roots, and it's difficult to work with and remove. It also deteriorates after a few seasons, and it shreds and then it blows around, contributing to litter in your yard, and you don't need your yard to look like it's full of garbage. And that's what happens because the plastic breaks down, it shreds, it blows around your yard, and all of a sudden it looks like you've been decorating for Halloween in June. So, plastic sheeting, probably not the best choice. Beds starting with young plants rather than by direct seeding should be mulched when you're planting them. Okay, so if you're not seeding directly, if you're getting seedlings and planting them, you probably want to mulch right away because the mulch will help keep your plants in place and will help protect them a little bit and will help some of the drainage and will start adding nutrients to the soil as it breaks down, all that good stuff. You want to layer the mulch no more than 3 inches deep, so about yay big, and you want to leave a few inches around the stems of each plant. So there's not a bunch of mulch right against your little seedlings because they will kind of get drowned out. So leave a space around each seedling and don't put your mulch too deep. Okay. You just want to make sure that your seedlings can do what they need to do. Okay. You can mulch direct seeded plants, so seeds that you have sown in the ground. You can mulch there after the seedlings have been thinned out. So once everything pops out of the ground, and then you thin out the seedlings you don't want, then you can mulch. Same idea, leave a space around them and don't mulch too deeply. Okay, when your plants are a few inches tall, you can definitely mulch, but just stay right off the actual plant itself. Like, don't put your mulch right up against that seedling because it's not going to make it. Depending on the climate and materials, some mulches will last for several years, but a good mulch should at least last you the summer. Okay, so a good quality wood mulch, you probably will only have to renew once a year. In certain climates, that wood mulch may last a very long time, so that works too. Okay, so use what you like the look of, what you like the feel of. You might have to experiment a little bit. I do like shredded newspaper. If it didn't blow around so much, it would be really useful. But it does tend to blow around quite a bit, and so it becomes less useful for us. But I do like shredded paper. I like using colored paper, but ideally, in my ideal world, I use a wood mulch. Okay, hot, humid conditions tend to speed decomposition. So if you're in a hot, humid location, you probably want to go with a wood because your papers and your lighter mulches will break down really fast because hot, humid conditions equal faster decomp. Moist materials such as grass clippings decompose faster than dry ones. So if you're picking between like grass clippings or leaves, use dried leaves. They will take longer to decompose. And I mean, grass clippings from around your yard and dried leaves that fell in the fall are free. So if you're looking to save on cost, you might want to use that for mulch. It's not a terrible idea. It does break down and just adds to your soil for the following year. It just adds nutrients to your soil. So using your grass clippings and your leaves, it works. I mean, you can do it. It'll just break down faster. There's nothing wrong with grass clippings and leaves as mulch. It just doesn't look as pretty as the wood. And again, it'll break down faster. So you're going to find yourself having to remulch every few weeks because it's going to break down pretty quick. Anyway, that's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Drop a comment below letting me know what you use for mulch. I tend to like the wood. It's a little pricey sometimes. Yeah, you have to make a judgment call. We'll see you tomorrow.